Ladies and gentlemen, what we've all been waiting for. Our first round of patch notes are in. And I've heard they're a real doozy. So I'm going into these blind. I don't know what any of these are. Let's see what's coming for us on September 17th. The first round of changes. Keep in mind, these are PvE and PvP changes. Let's get into it without further detail. 2 minutes ago, hot off the printing press. Let's go. During scheduled weekly maintenance on September 17th, we will adjust classes that have been over and underperforming in the first days of the War Within. Death Knight. Sand Lane. Vampiric Strike chance to trigger increased to 25%. Pog. Frenzied Bloodthirst. Damage of Death Coil and Death Strike increased by 5% per stack. Sand Lane. Visceral Strength grants 8% strength. So this is some pretty significant Sand Lane buffs. Blood. Let me just mute for 1 second. Blood. Some blood changes. More Vampiric Strike damage. Infliction of Sorrow got buffed. All right. Havoc Demon Hunter. A few issues coming in hot with I-Beam. I-Beam's damage was reduced beyond 1 target instead of 5. I-Beam wasn't benefiting from Isolated Prey. I-Beam wasn't benefiting from Chaotic Disposition. So all that got changed. Balance Druid. All ability damage increased by 6%. Whoa! And Star Surge damage increased by 16%. Whoa! Yep. Star Fall damage increased by 20%. Not applied in PvP combat. Okay, so Star Surge Giga buffed. All ability damage buffed. Balance back on the menu, boys. Lunar Calling increases Starfire's damage to its primary target by 80%. Was 65. The bonus remains 50% in PvP. Okie doke. Feral. Blood Talons and Lion Strengths no longer increase the damage of Rampant Ferocity. All ability damage increased by 3%. Rip damage increased by 6%. Ferocious Bite damage increased by 3%. Feral Frenzy damage increased by 10%. And Druid of the Claw Ravage damage increased by 3%. Restoration. All healing increased by 8%. Does not affect PvP. But Restoration got a Wrath buff, a Starfire buff, and a Star Surge buff, all by 20%. A little bit of damage buff. Oh, this is nice. Disintegrate damage increased by 10%. Awesome. Devastation. Eternity Surge damage increased by 10%. Okay. I don't know if there's going to be any kind of... We have to wait and see. I'm not going to freak out until I see the PvP notes. Okay? Mage. Living Bomb's explosive visual now only plays on the unit that is the living bomb rather than each individual unit. Okay. Sunfear. Meteorite damage reduced by 15%. Burden of Power. Damage bonus for Arcane Blast reduced to 20%. Sunfear. Burden of Power. Damage bonus for Arcane Barrage reduced to 20%. Ugh. Fire. All ability damage increased by 6%. So Fire Mage got a 6% damage increase. Unlucky. Maybe they'll get some more PvP changes though. I mean, that's okay. It's not... and then Living Bomb damage increased by 25%. Very negligible. Monk, Mistweaver, all healing increased by 3%. Tiger Palm damage increased by 15%. Does not affect PvP. Rising Sun Kick damage increase does not affect PvP. Darting Hurricane's passive trigger rate reduced by 50%. Now reduces the global cooldown by 0.25. Was 0.5 seconds. Okay. Holy Paladin. All healing reduced by 6%. Not affected by PvP. Judgment damage increased by 60%. Yeah, baby! Let's go, Holy Paladins! Born Good is just licking his chops right now. Big damn Judge. That's a big buff. Judgment damage increased by 60%. Crusader Strike damage increased by 60%. Hammer of Wrath damage increased by 20%. Let's get it! Avenging Crusader transfer amount reduced. Aww. Aww. Oh. That's... Aww. Alright, Holy Prism, single target damage increased by 100%. And area effect damage increased by 50%. Okay. Herald of the Sun, Dawnlight damage reduced by 15%. Okie doke. All damage increased by 6% for Shadow Priest. Oh, great. This is what Shadow Priest needed, more damage. Psychic Link now inflicts 25% of its direct damage to targets affected by VT. Was 30. Okay. Outlaw, all ability damage reduced by 4%. Dispatch damage reduced by 10%. Melee auto attack damage reduced by 8%. The War Within Season 1 set bonus has a 35% chance to deal 30% increased damage to Shadow, was 20 and 15, so they buffed the set bonus. War Within 4 set for Between the Eyes increased to 15% per stack, up to 4 was 6. Okay, so they buffed the set bonus for them both. Enhancement Shaman, all ability damage increased by another 4%. Witch Doctor's Ancestry now reduces the cooldown of Feral Spirit by 1 second whenever you gain a Maelstrom weapon stack, was 2 seconds. The War Within Season 1 set bonus now increases the damage of Storm Strike, Lava Lash, Ice Strike, and Crash Lightning. 10% was 6. Okay, a little bit of a buff. But yeah, so far, so crazy. More Arcane Mage nerfs kind of makes me a little sad, I'm going to be honest. Evoker, the thing that freaks me out the most right now is Evoker getting more damage. I mean, surely that's going to be offset in PvP, right? Like, because, yeah. I think Disintegrate doing more damage is like, yeah. That's going to be a... So I'm going to anticipate that it gets nerfed. But I don't know for sure. Melee auto attack damage reduced. So I don't know. Outlaw is one of those specs that's kind of like not that popular in PvP right now, but apparently it's really giga OP in PvE. So, which is surprising to me, to be honest with you. Like, maybe Outlaw is better than... Maybe people are like sandbagging Outlaw or what? Because it doesn't make any sense. Like with the kit Outlaw has, and then it also has the highest raid damage in the game. Like, how could it be bad? I don't really get that. But we'll continue with the notes. We got Restoration. Lava Burst damage increased, Lightning Bolt damage increased, Chain Lightning damage increased, all by 12%. Demon Bolt. Here we go. We got Demon Bolt. Demon Bolt damage increased by 20%. Pact of Eredruin summon Demon Guard damage increased by 45%. Felguard damage increased by 15%. Destruction, all ability damage increased by 6%. Dimensional Rift damage increased by 40%. And Channel Demon Fire damage increased by 40%. So pretty big Demo buffs, pretty big Destro buffs. What's going on with Warrior? Colossus. Mountain of Muscle and Scars increases damage dealt by 5%. Damage dealt by demolishes 2 initial strikes increased by 20%. Mountain Thane. Thunder's Blast, Lightning Strikes, and Ground Current damage increased by 6%. Blade Storm damage reduced. Makes me really sad. Fury damage, Blade Storm reduced. Odin's Fury damage reduced. What the heck? So Fury is catching some strays. Arms, though, really catching some strays. What the frick? All right, now we're getting to the PvP changes. So all of this is mostly raid changes, guys. This is Mythic Plus and raid changes. So, yeah, if you got buffed, congratulations. Let's see what happens now for PvP. What are the devs thinking specifically for PvP? Death Knight. Frost Fever damage is no longer increased in PvP. Okay. The icon for Lesser Anti-Magic Shell from Vestil Shell has been updated to be distinct from regular Anti-Magic Shell. Okay. Ride of the Apocalypse Horseman aid effectiveness reduced by 50% in PvP combat. That's... Honestly, DK's got basically... I mean, those are very minor nerfs. Super minor nerfs for DKs. The hunt damage and damage over time are now reduced by 15% in PvP. Was 28. Okay, so they buffed the hunt. The hunt actually got better. Disintegrate damage is no longer increased by 20% in PvP. Oh, shit. Preservation, Living Flame, healing reduced by 20% in PvP. Okay. That's very minor, man, for Prez. Holy crap, I'm gonna be honest, man. That seems really minor for Prez Evoker. They only reduced the healing of Living Flame. That's it. That seems really, like, nothing. That's a nothing burger. Living Flame does a lot of healing for Prez, though. Really? Yeah, maybe it does. All right, let's look at Hunters. Oh, God. Beast Mastery. Kill command damage increased by 15%. Cobra Shot damage increased by 15%. Kill Shot damage increased by 40%. And Barb Shot damage increased by 20%. Holy shit. That's a lot of BM buffs. Those are big BM buffs. Like, BM's back, baby. We're back, baby. Monk, Peace for PvP talent now reduces the cooldown of revival by 30 seconds. Was 60? Wait, they further nerfed Peace Weaver? What? They nerfed it even more? Oh, Mystical's not going to be happy about this one. Okay. Communion with wind damage increase is no longer reduced in PvP. Okay. Shadow Pan, Wisdom of the Walls, shadow damage is reduced by 50% in PvP combat. Okay. Paladin, Sanctified Plates now increases armor by 20%, stamina by 10%, and area of effect damage. Wait, what? Sanctified Plate now increases armor by 20%, stamina by 10%, and area of effect damage reduced by 6% in PvP combat. What was it? Is that a buff or a nerf? Divine Protection's damage reduction increased by 50% in PvP combat? The fuck? Dude. That's crazy, what? Holy Paladins, dude, these are like big changes to Holy Paladin. Holy Paladins are getting some serious buffs. That's a big buff to the survivability. Okay, Subtlety Rogue. Reverberation damage bonus for our echoing reprimand, or for echoing reprimand reduced to 70% in PvP. Okie doke. Enhancement Shaman. Storm Strike damage increased by 20%. Holy crap, these changes to enhance, man. What the frick? Lava Lash damage increased by 20%. Fire Nova damage increased by 40%. Frost Shock damage increased by 40%. Ice Strike damage increased by 40%. Wind Strike damage increased by 20%. Storm Strike damage increased by 20%. What the frick? Yo, what? Dude, Enhancement Shamans, I swear. They're gonna destroy people. That seems really, really, really good. What do they do to Affliction? All right, Affliction. Corruption damage reduced by 10%. Shadow Bolt damage reduced by 15%. Unstable Affliction damage increased by 30%. Unstable Affliction backlash damage increased by 25%. Hellcaller Wither damage reduced by 10%. Soul Harvester Necrolite Teachings now increases the damage of Shadow Bolt and Drain Soul by 10%. In PvP was 20. Destruction, Chaos Bolt damage increased, Incinerate damage increased, Soulfire damage increased, Decimation now reduces the cast time of Soulfire, Wither damage reduced by 30% in PvP combat, Ruination damage reduced. You guys, where's Fire? You guys see Fire Mages in here? Like, Fire got 6%. I mean, 6%? 6%. 6%, eh? You don't see Frost Mages on there either? Yeah, Frost Mages didn't get any changes. Affliction Warlock caught some nerfs. Honestly, no changes. Okay, huge surprise. These are the biggest surprises for me. Okay? And I'm not saying anything should be nerfed. I'm not saying anything should be buffed. I'm just staying out of it. I'm very surprised that Unholy Decays didn't get anything. Barely anything. Unholy Decays barely got anything at all. Frost Mages got no changes. Fire Mages like barely. I mean, I feel like Fire is still completely in shambles. Garbage. Boomy's got buffed. Okay, great. Affliction got some. Like, these are solid nerfs. Enhancement Shaman. Those are giga buffs. Dispriest and Prez Evokers got away with murder, I feel like. Yep. That's crazy, dude. Demo? Wait, Demo got buffs. What do you mean? Demon Bolt damage got increased by 20%. Felguard damage got increased by 15%. Pharaoh's the new best melee. Yeah, Pharaoh's got some crazy changes too. Destro got a bunch of changes. Destro, I think Destro might be insane. Real talk. So Destro, look at this. You guys can't tell me, listen, like, I'm gonna do a little rant right now. You guys can't tell me that like Fire Mage was better than Destro, okay? Now, with that in mind, Destro got, like, can you explain to me the logic in like Destro getting, 6% buff? Well, Fire Mage got 6% buff too. But how come we also got like this? Like, where's the fireball buffs? Where's the pyro buffs? Where's the fire, like, you know what I mean? I don't understand that. Destro was the worst warlock spec? Yeah, Fire's the worst spec period. So it's like, I don't really get that. I don't. But overall, I will say overall, very solid patch notes. I'm not mad. I just am very sad for Fire Mages. But yeah. that's about it. Cool. Good first draft.